Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for coming to watch. I've got guys an update on a new severe weather threat that we've got. It's about to unfold here across the Central Plains. All right, just a day before Halloween, we are expecting a trough to enter the United States and eventually bring in some potential severe weather here across sections of the plains. All right, we also do have to talk about the tropics as we do have another emerging story out in the Caribbean that we have to watch. Also, for another potential hurricane threat, I've got all the details coming right up. Right, so thank you for joining me here on this Sunday night. We have a lot to talk about in this video, and we just got to go over pretty much all this new information we've got from the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center. So, I will say it has been extraordinarily dry for pretty much the entire United States, other than the West. All right, it has just been bone dry out here in Long Island. I will tell you right now, every lawn right now has dead grass. I mean, the grass is literally just brown and tan. There's no green grass left. Everything is just dead. We are in desperate need of water and rain. All right, that goes for the same pretty much for the entire Northeast, other than those upper elevations that are starting to see some potential snow, if any precipitation moves in. But you can see the entire eastern half of the United States seeing absolutely no rain. All right, now here you got some precipitation moving into the western United States. All right, you guys haven't been as bad, but I mean, from Oklahoma all the way to Massachusetts, it's just been horrendous how much of a drought we've been experiencing. All right, so it's been a minute since I've uploaded, just really nothing to talk about until now. So the weather's starting to heat up, and you bet that we will be back in business when that time comes, and here we are. All right, so moving on here to your alerts. All right, you can see right now across portions of Oklahoma and into southern Kansas, we do have a red flag warning. All right, going out for these areas in the hot pink shade. All right, that's sections of far western Oklahoma, not quite including the Panhandle, but you got extreme northern Texas out there, including the Panhandle there, and then the southern half of Kansas here, and then into sections of southeastern Colorado. All right, watch out for another dangerous day of fire threats. Obviously, don't burn anything flammable. Don't mess with anything flammable, especially outdoors, because everything can pretty much catch quickly, just due to how windy it is and the exceptionally dry conditions. All right, in the Northeast, across New England, we do have still some fire weather watches and special weather statements. All right, still for these areas that are very, very dry. All right, those fire weather watches, I think, are for portions of Connecticut, where we actually do have a few brush fires and even some wildfires starting to ignite. All right, we're already starting to see some wildfires, already starting to see some communities, and even in New York State now starting to see some smoke. And I believe there could have been a fire. It was a pretty small fire, but I think it was definitely in New York State. We actually did have one fire breakout, at least today or yesterday. All right, but it's just so dangerous, these conditions, that anything can happen, even on Long Island here. I mean, this isn't typically a place where you're going to get wildfires, but you can't you can't you can't live with this much of a drought and not have a fire danger threat. All right, but you can see that we do also have freeze warnings going out for this bluish purple shade here to Virginia, Delmarva area, southern New Jersey. I believe this is pretty close to Philadelphia. We'll take a look if this is going to load. My Wi-Fi has been really bad recently, so I apologize if this video is a little bit glitchy, if anything's having trouble loading. But that's not going to load, so we're just going to... Oh, here we go. Alright, so Philadelphia right now is actually under a frost advisory. You can see the freeze warning does include pretty much everyone else. That does include Baltimore, alright, Washington, D.C., but yeah, Philadelphia, you guys are currently under a frost advisory, but I think there's a very high potential you guys will be put under that freeze warning. All right. Other than that, everyone else seems to be relatively quiet. Upper elevations, possibly some winter weather mixed in there. Winter weather advisories in the purple shade. But yeah, we're pretty much looking good. Other than that, all right. So, moving on here, we're going to quickly take a look at our latest hurricane threat. This is the National Hurricane Center homepage. You can see right now we have one marked area of interest here in this orange shade. All right, we have a broad area of low pressure that is likely to develop over the southwestern Caribbean Sea in the next few days. Gradual development of the system is possible thereafter, and a tropical depression could form late this week or over the weekend while the system begins to drift northward or northeastward over the southwestern and south central Caribbean Sea. All right, this is extremely far out, and the fact that they already have a medium, probability of this thing developing so far out, that's pretty aggressive. And I will say, you don't see this every day. You don't usually see something this confident at the end of October, right? Usually we're pretty much done with hurricane season. We're wrapping up hurricanes, but this system looks pretty much as concerning as any September or August system, right? So that's why we need to continue to watch the hurricane season. Still record-breaking sea surface temperatures, nothing you can mess around with here. But as of right now, I got a 40% chance. Definitely the right move. And then as we get a little bit closer to that development time frame, we'll start to see that um, percentage kind of fluctuate a little bit more. All right, but you can see, as we move on to the GFS. All right, 18Z GFS obviously a little bit more aggressive with hurricanes, but you can see it takes a lot of this gold. Look at all this moisture here from the Caribbean. You just got a lot of moisture sitting around, kind of, spinning around out here, and this does actually pop off low relatively quickly, and then it does, unfortunately, go under some rapid intensification. And look at this. We're already into November. This is November 2nd. This would be Sunday of. This is a week out. We have a 975 millibar low, and this is moving pretty much to the northeast. It looks like it's going up towards, Hispaniola and Dominican Republic. And this actually does make a technical landfall here. That'd be like Haiti, I think. All right, but this is still chugging its way northward near the southwestern Atlantic. This is still a hurricane as it's moving over the Bahamas, but this is a 978 millibar low as it's moving, impacting the Bahamas. All right, you're getting large swells if you're on the east coast of the United States, pretty much from the Carolinas down to Florida. And now this storm is expanding, getting larger, and it's just sitting over the Bahamas. And Bahamas aren't really doing much to it, and it's actually getting, it's deepening. It's getting a little bit stronger. Now it's down to a 963 millibars. So you could argue this is a high-end Category 2 hurricane, low-end Category 3 hurricane, and this gets all the way down to a 960 millibar low, almost becomes stationary, almost stalls out just barely to the east of the Bahamas here, and then begins to just do donut holes and, moves east, moves south, moves north, and it's still a hurricane at this point. Very wild stuff from the GFS. Look at all this abrupt movement. It's going east now, turns northward, goes sharply west, then sits on the Bahamas, turns north, goes east, goes south, and then goes back up north. It's very weird, but um, I think these weird runs is kind of a signal that the GFS does not want to shut up with the system. It wants to continue to show signs of it. You can see not only 18Z, but for days we've seen the GFS show something towards the end of the runs. Look how weird this one is. We get a double hurricane. I don't think I've ever seen actually something like that in the GFS. We get two hurricanes, almost two majors, but this one deepens down in the 950, so that's a Category 3 hurricane. But this one still gets down in the 970s, I believe. So that's a weird run. I mean, OZ probably showing a weird run. I haven't looked at this. Here you go. Yeah, another double hurricane run. Wow. But you can just see that the signal is there, and it's definitely not slowing down. So just some concerning runs from the GFS, and then you can even look at other models here. The European model. Our European model still showing this blob of green, this moisture here sitting south of the Antilles. All right, south of Hispaniola, and then this does actually deepen itself down to 1,007 millibar low. European model, not that good with long range forecasting, and no model is good at long range forecasting for tropics. But the European model does struggle a lot typically with hurricane season. So what you look at is just for a sign of development, meaning just an area of broad low pressure, moisture, or even if you're just going to get a low pressure signature here. But that's what we see at the end of this run, where we do get some sort of circulation with this energy, and it does deepen down to 1,007 millibars. So that's at least just a signal from the European model that, it's trying to catch on to. But the GFS obviously looks the most aggressive out of all the models we've looked at so far. All right, so European model always ends every runoff with some sort of low, some sort of circulation of energy, and that's what a sign that we need to look at and not ignore from the European model as far as the tropics are concerned. Now, you look at the Canadian model. What does the Canadian model show? Well, it does show pretty similar to what the GFS was showing, where we get a little moisture that tries to get its act together, sits around here north of South America, and then boom, you get a low pressure, and this goes on to rapid intensification. takes control and takes over these very warm sea surface temperatures, and you get a worst case scenario. This is about to thread the needle as already a 959 millibar low. Think of what it can do as it gets into the Gulf of Mexico. This is already getting pulled up by a trough that's impacting the central United States. This trough is doing, it's pulling up this hurricane. You can even see the isobars. All right, this represents where the flow aloft is moving, and you can see they're wrapping into the hurricane. The circulation is getting pulled up into the United States, and that's why if this ends up moving in towards the Gulf of Mexico rather than north, then that's why this is going to be a threat to land. If not, then maybe this is going to go, up towards the Greater Antilles, but we still don't know if this is even going to form. So just a very concerning signal there, all right, from the Canadian model. And then we move over here to the GFS, and we'll actually, that's an extra tab there. All right, you can see, first we'll start with the Storm Prediction Center. We're moving on to severe weather because we do have a day 4 slight risk. We have a 15% chance of severe weather on day 4. This is for Wednesday, October the 30th. I don't think we've seen a day 4 slight in months, all right? It's been a very long time since we've seen any significant severe weather. But we're back to seeing day 4 slides. Our secondary severe weather season is beginning to ramp up here, and we do have a classic 15% slight risk here for the plains on day 4. Right, this includes Dallas and sections of northern Texas into Oklahoma, into sections of western Missouri and southeastern Kansas. All right, this is pretty far out to be a slight risk, so I do think that we could definitely see some upgrades to this. We'll have to watch how the SBC handles this, but as of right now, you've got a pretty broad slight risk 4 days out, so you never know what happens with this, but we'll have to continue to watch. Still some very populated areas. You got Dallas, Texas, Oklahoma City, Kansas City, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wichita, Kansas. You got Joplin, Springfield, countless names out here. Fort Sill, Wichita Falls, so a lot of cities that, once again, are under the gun for severe weather. Haven't seen severe weather in a while, but these cities were under the gun for severe weather pretty frequently in the spring. So it seems like it's going to be kind of a regeneration of that for this event. All right, briefly looking at the GFS, you can see we do get that trough to move through. Here's that northern track with a storm system deepening, 990 millibar low. And once that dry line fires up here, these storms ignite. And look at this. Look at this signal here. You got strong storms. These are severe storms. All right, just thunderstorms that are exploding here along this line. All right, GFS showing a little bit more activity farther north. I do think, though, that we'll probably see some activity farther south. I think it's just going to be too cold for severe weather. All right, like north of the Missouri and Illinois border. I think, if you're north of there, you're probably not going to see any severe weather, probably just some rumbles of thunder, if not just heavy rainfall. But we do get that trough to move through. I will say, there's another signal coming up, another big system, a few more hours out. This is what I'm concerned about. This is a much stronger storm system. We'll have to watch this for a future update, but after this next system moves through, this is what we need to watch. This is what's very concerning. You get a classic, all right, fall/winter storm. You get strong, dry, cold winds pushing on the backside of this, meeting up with the warm Gulf moisture, and this looks to me like a killer severe weather event. All right, once again for the plains. So I think activity is definitely going to start to pick up very abruptly. But just to point this out, this is going to be another story we have to talk about right after this upcoming severe weather event. All right, so quickly looking at the jet stream winds here. All right, you can see shear there will be plenty of shear out in this region. All right, strongest jet stream winds, upper level winds, upper level jet looking much stronger here for sections of Kansas into Nebraska. It looks like farther north you go, the stronger the jet will be. I think that's going to definitely help with the potential rotating storms we may see. So I do think that's high severe threat may be pushed a little bit farther north. But definitely the right move to keep that slight risk a little bit farther south. And obviously we'll see how the SPC handles that as we go a little bit forward into the new week. All right, and then finally, for the last part of the update, you quickly look at our dew points. I mean, these are our forecasted dew points, and you're getting well into the 60s. Once again, another good signal for severe weather. So, when you have widespread, 50 to 60 degree dew points, obviously nothing crazy, but I do think The kinematics are definitely going to help and play a big role in the generation of severe weather. I think you put all these things together, and you've definitely got yourself a pretty significant threat in the coming next few days. All right, so that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. So, had to get this done pretty quick. All right, my dad has to go use the basement now. So just want to get this out for you guys. Take a look at drought conditions. Obviously, the tropics. Continue to watch that, but severe weather, it's going to ramp up. It's going to be big. We got to continue to watch this. But I should be able to go live for all of these events. So be sure to, turn on the bell so you don't miss any live streams or new forecast updates. Go follow my ex. I'll put the link in the description and in the comments. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.